The storm clouds had been gathering all afternoon, hanging low and heavy over the small town. Emma stood by her window, watching as the first drops of rain began to fall, splattering against the glass. She could feel the electricity in the air, that unmistakable tension before a storm fully breaks. A part of her wanted to curl up with a book, but another, wilder part, one that she hadn't listened to in a long time, longed for something different. As the rain fell harder, tapping a steady rhythm on the roof, Emma opened the door and stepped outside. The cool drops kissed her skin, and for the first time in months, she felt truly alive. The streets were empty, the world washed in shades of grey and silver, but in the rain, everything seemed more vibrant, more real. She walked to the center of her garden, where the grass was already slick with water, and looked up at the sky. The rain poured down, soaking her to the bone, but she didn't care. A laugh bubbled up from somewhere deep inside her, free, unrestrained, and full of joy. She hadn't realized how much she had missed this, the sheer abandon of not caring what others thought, of letting go. Then, she began to dance. Her movements were awkward at first, hesitant, like she was trying to remember something she had long forgotten. But as she twirled, her arms outstretched and her feet moving across the wet grass, she found her rhythm. The rain became her partner, drumming its melody all around her, and she danced with it, letting it guide her. Every step was a release of the worries, the stresses, and the heartbreaks she had carried for far too long. Emma remembered being a little girl, spinning in circles during summer storms, her mother watching from the porch, laughing. Back then, the rain was magic, and today, it was again. She felt the weight of years lift off her shoulders as she let herself be carried by the storm. A warm gust of wind swept through the garden, rustling the leaves and adding to the symphony. Emma's hair clung to her face, her clothes plastered against her skin, but she kept dancing, losing herself in the moment. The rain washed everything away, the fear of judgment, the self-doubt. It was just her and the storm. Suddenly, she wasn't alone. Across the street, a figure emerged from the misty curtain of rain. Jake, her neighbor, was standing under the edge of his porch, watching her. His face was unreadable, but she could tell he was surprised. For a moment, she paused, embarrassed. But then, without a word, he stepped out from under the shelter and walked into the rain. He didn't hesitate as he crossed the street, and when he reached her, he extended his hand. "May I have this dance?" he asked, his voice warm and playful. Emma smiled, her heart racing for reasons that had nothing to do with the storm. She took his hand, and together they spun and swayed, two souls embracing the rain like it was the only thing that mattered in the world. They danced until the clouds began to part and the sky lightened. The rain slowed to a soft drizzle, but they didn't stop. Not until the sun broke through and a rainbow arched across the sky, its colors brilliant against